knowing what the defense is going to do before they do it. Basically like having the answers to the test.
I'm Adam Brenneman.
This is
Next up. Wild. Next up. What's up, guys? Welcome into the Next Up by Mercury podcast. I'm Adam Brenneman. We're in Lawrence, Kansas, at the University of Kansas, and we're going to go talk to Jalon Daniels and Devin Neal about all things 2022 season. Let's go see what they're up to. Well, I appreciate you guys doing this.
Yes, sir.
In the middle of game week, it's Tuesday of Duke week, right? How's practice going? Feeling good?
Yeah, we feel
Yes,
good.
sir. Definitely.
You practiced this morning?
Yes, sir.
How was it?
Went well. I mean, we're able to execute the plays, day 2 install, going into a game week and feeling pretty confident about the play calls that we have.
So you guys, what's the practice schedule during the week? Is it Monday? Is it off day Sunday?
Yeah,
I
all
mean,
days are Sunday.
yeah.
But we still come in and like lift
Yeah.
and do treatment. But yeah, it was pretty much Monday to Thursday, then Friday's our travel day.
Got it. Cool. So sitting 3-0, best start Kanas has had in a long time. There's more energy and excitement around the program. And I don't even remember the last time it was this popping in Kansas. So how's it feel?
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. I mean, to see the amount of excitement from everybody, outside of the program, and then being able to see the amount of excitement inside the locker room, inside these walls, and, just being able to see the preparation that we've been doing, this whole entire offseason pay off.
Yeah. Feel good?
Yeah, man, it feels good, especially being from Lawrence too. So it's kind of cool seeing the change happening before your eyes. So
that's what I wanted to ask you. You're unique in the sense that you got to go to the college. You grew up at Lawrence. You went to literally Lawrence High School, right? And so you've seen Kansas you've seen it be down bad and then be where it is now. What's kind of that process?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like it was kind of my dream. Like this is what I wanted to do. This is what I kind of expected to do. And bring a different leadership to the team and bring a different perspective too. So starting the season 3-0 means a lot to me, but we're just getting started. So
Lawrence better than anyone, right?
Yeah,
the in and outs, right?
Yeah.
Jalen, your name popped up this week on Heisman odds or the Heisman list. I don't even know if you knew. I just told you that a couple minutes ago. Do you pay attention to that stuff? How cool is that? I mean, that's got to be like, I know you can downplay it, but that's got to be like a pretty sick thing when you see your name beside C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young and all these big time quarterbacks.
Definitely. I mean, it's not something that I really, look at. I feel like, those type of achievements are something that you really want to look at, after the season. Because, at the end of the day, we still are in season. We're going into game 4. We still have a long season ahead of us. So, I like the fact that my name is, in that conversation right now, but it's not something I'm really looking at right now, and I just want to be able to end the season off strong.
Yeah. Take me through that West Virginia game. It was a game everyone was watching, and, it's such a crazy ending with the pick 6 to end it.
Yeah.
You guys both played extremely well. I mean, that Morgantown was just shut down after that. It was probably dead silent. Like, take me through that game.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was hostile, man. They get rowdy down there, but
for sure, they definitely did.
Definitely.
But yeah, it was a good game, man. And proud of the effort from the team. We came together, and those are the type of battles we need to win. And sometimes that's what's needed. You're not gonna line up and physically dominate a team and blow them out. So when you all come together like that, and focus on the discipline, focus on the little things. That's what got us the W that day.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say one of our main focuses this offseason is trying to handle adversity. And game 1 we didn't really have much adversity. Game 2 came around and we were in the locker room and said this is going to be the game that tests how we handle adversity. And definitely adversity did strike early in that game, and I feel like our team definitely stood up to the challenge.
That was a true track meet. You guys just running all over the field. Did you feel that you were scoring so many points? I think you guys averaged 10 yards a play during the game. Did you guys feel that you couldn't do anything wrong on offense?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really surreal feeling. We're like, oh, we just can't be stopped. So yeah, it always feels good when you're in that kind of mode and you just clicking on all cylinders and everything's working. So
Was that your best game of your career, you feel like? I guess, well, maybe last week might have topped it, right?
You know, I feel like, you know, every week I just go in with the mindset of, you know, I want this to be my best game yet. You know, I want to be able to, you know, it's a blessing to be able to go out there every Saturday and be able to play in front of so many fans and in front of these different environments. You know, it's just something that, you know, a lot of college athletes dreamed of as a child. And, you know, being able to go out there every Saturday, you really just want to go out there with the mindset that you just make every play that you can.
Yeah. What do you think is, as a quarterback specifically, is like the next step you got to take in your game to just be, you know, become a more complete or more elite player?
You know, I feel like, you know, throwing more people open, you know, seeing the zone pre-snap. You know, I feel like, you know, I've done a pretty good job of starting to get in the hang of pre-snap, post-snap reads, you know, knowing what the defense is going to do before they do it. You know, basically like having the answers to the test. But, you know, there's little things during the play that I could always clean up.
Yeah. Take me through, fans will love this, like pre-snap. Okay, you get the you guys are signal offense, right? You get the signal, or are you
so
wristband?
we're wrist coach. We're wrist coach
wristband.
offense.
Okay.
Yes.
So you get the wristband call, right?
Yes.
What's what are you doing? Like are you telling the O-line the protection? Are you looking at the safeties? Like what's your pre-snap routine?
So as soon as I get the wrist coach number from Coach Z, I'm automatically looking at the clock to see how much time we have left. You know.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I gotta make sure that we're not, you know, the clock isn't too low. See how fast I have to call the play call. But at the end of the day, you know, with Coach K's offense, I feel like we try to control the pace of the game, you know, whether we have to speed it up or, you know, slow it down. So, you know, that's the number one thing that I look at going to the huddle. I'm reading the play call, and as I'm reading the play call, I'm thinking of the play in my head, but I'm reading it slower for everybody else so that they can hear it, because we only say it one time. So, and with this offense, there's a lot of verbiage and a lot of tags that go into it. So, you know, if you don't hear it that one time, you might miss that call and you'll have to like come back and ask. So, then I'm visualing the play. We finally get to the line of scrimmage, looking at the clock one more time. To see how much time I have to look at my pre-snap reads. And then after that, I'm looking at the defense, seeing what they're doing, seeing if this is their base alignment to their formation that they've shown on film, or if they're trying to do something differently. And then after that, it just goes into do your job, you know, play your best.
What about you? What's your pre-snap? You're just like, give me the ball.
Nah. Yeah, depend. I mean, if it's a run, I got my own reads kind of. Yeah. So it depends on obviously what type of run it is, but I'm looking for a certain thing, and you know, then it's kind of just read and react from there. But it's more thinking comes with like pass protection. So like whenever JD calls like a pass play, I got to think what possible pressures I can get. That's the hard part. Right? Yeah, and you know that's why film's important too, because if you see one thing, you're like, oh, this is probably coming. So then you're more prepared. So yeah, those are kind of things that I look for. It's just different anomalies when you're looking. Like if the safety is shading down one way, you're like, oh, Jay, this blitz is coming.
Or you got a cap safety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you got to pay attention to that and, you know, pick up the blitz.
What's your favorite run play? You were like inside zone.
I'm a counter guy. I like counter. Yeah, that's my favorite run play for sure.
Follow that tight end.
Yeah, follow that puller for sure.
You definitely need a good tight end to run counter. Right?
You do.
I want to ask both of you about the recruiting process. Something fans love talking about recruiting as well. For each of you, yours was being the hometown kid. Yours was, I think you flipped like the last minute to Kansas, right?
Yes, sir.
So each of you, I want to hear the stories. And did you guys know each other at all during the recruiting process? Or you didn't, not till you got here?
Nah.
Gotcha. I knew him his freshman year.
Yeah.
But
gotcha. Okay.
But you know, for me, I was committed to Middle Tennessee State my whole senior season. I committed the week before my senior season started, but I was in contact with Brent Dearman. You know, since February of that year. You know, he didn't have the offensive.
He's the old OC here. Right?
Yeah, he was the old OC. You know, he didn't have the offensive coordinator job yet. He was still an assistant here, still like being in the background and everything like that. During my senior season is when we almost beat Texas, and we had a whole lot of offensive numbers, and that was his first game being like the official offensive coordinator. And I believe like a week or two after that, this is like towards the end of my season. He hit me up and was just like, yeah, so they're going to allow me to give you the scholarship. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to have some conversations with my family, have some conversations with God at first, and then we're going to see where it goes from there. But, you know, after a few conversations with God, you know, having those conversations with my parents, they basically just told me, you have to do what makes you feel right. And, you know, me being who I am, you know, I started looking at little things. I lived off Kansas Avenue back home in Los Angeles, and I lived off Kansas Avenue. My coach in high school is Charles Gordon. He went here to the University of Kansas as well. So having those conversations with him, he showed me and told me that I would love it here in Lawrence. And I was just like, all right, I mean, I'm going to have to go with my gut right here. And I eventually signed to the University of Kansas, and I hadn't even taken a visit yet. I didn't get to take a visit till, I believe, that February, right after that.
Really? So you signed without ever seeing the campus?
Yes, sir.
You were just looking at it on Google and stuff?
Basically having to ask all the other commits how they liked it, how they liked their visits, you know. And I guess it really just came down to, you know, seeing what the possibility was, you know. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Kansas because I wanted to be able to help the program turn around. And I felt like, you know, at the beginning of that, I thought that they were on their way there. So, you know, I feel like that we've done a great job of just, you know, keep on chucking, you know, no matter what the situation is, day in, day out, keep going in with that mindset to get 1% better.
You had literally the exact opposite scenario where you saw too much of Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot.
What was your process like?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, baseball was involved heavily. So a lot of teams kind of shied away from, you know, dealing with trying to manage a two-sport athlete, you know. But, you know, it started really picking up kind of after my junior year season. And I ventured around and just looked at college like any other kid, you know. But just I always had that gut feeling that it just things weren't right. Like it was always Kansas for me. And, yeah, it felt really good. I was also recruited by Coach Dearman and then Coach Miles, obviously, and his staff. So I was originally recruited by Coach Hull, and then now Coach Wallace, when he first got here, is who I was recruited by too. So it was a large team effort, and you know, it's almost like a leap of faith. Like before, Jalon actually had a whole season. I didn't even have a whole season with the coach that I committed to.
Yeah.
So Coach Leipold came in, and I'm like, well, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I mean, my recruitment process, it was crazy because you know COVID was big too.
That's
so
right, you couldn't take.
Yeah, it got shut down that March. So I wasn't able to go on a lot of those visits, but obviously God had a plan for me. So, yeah, that's what got me here. So,
and you guys just mentioned it. I was going to ask you, like, you both have been here through that, like, turmoil of, like, Coach Miles' staff and all that went down there, and then, like, the late coaching change. We were just talking to Coach Leipold, like, getting, like, a new coach in May is crazy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, your first time with them was, like, training camp. You know what I mean? So just take me through that. Like, what was that like? I mean, there was so much uncertainty around that time, I feel like, and then Coach Leipold came in and brought some of that stability.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just, you know, I had to go in with the mindset that, you know, no matter what's happening, God has a plan for me. You know, I feel like, you know, I'm always going to be following God's plan. You know, he's going to guide me in the right path no matter what it is. And my objective, you know, going into that first year with Coach Leipold was just to be able to, you know, get better as a quarterback and get better as a man. You know, I felt like Coach Leipold and his staff coming in, you know, they established a very well cultured team. You know, listening to Coach Sleeve and everything that he preached and harped on when they first got here just showed me that, you know, they have a plan for us and they have a plan of what they want to do here. And I agree with it. You know, I want to just be able to follow that and, you know, just be able to go off of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I was, like I said, like when they first announced it, I was like, well, what are we going to do? And had a lot of talks with my family, but I'm like, let's just stick it out. And yeah, Coach Sleeve really was the first person that kind of hit it home with me too. It was just what he was talking about. It really resonated with me a lot. But yeah, man, it was at first it was like, how do you trust something that you just don't know?
Yeah.
You know, so you put in a lot of effort, but this thing could go south really quickly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it just you could feel the change even last year, even though, you know, the season was long, the season was rough. It had its, you know, valleys and all types of mountains. I mean, literally, we overcame a lot last year, and you know, this offseason just made it even more important how much work we had to put in to get to where we are. So
it's cool how you guys stuck that out, because I feel like in college football nowadays, like everyone, when the coaching change happens, they just jump in the portal right away. You know? And you guys like decided to stick that out. Was that something? Did you just, you know, you kind of just said it? Did you feel like the culture kind of was shifting under Coach Leipold?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I'd say that, you know, when you commit to a school, you're committing to the school. You're not necessarily committing to the coaching staff. You know, after my very first semester at the University of Kansas, Coach Dearman left. And then a month after that, Coach Miles left. And then, you know, everything like that happened. So, so yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really just following God's plan for me.
Yeah. So you played you played in 2020, had a few, I think like 6 starts in 2020, right? And then started some games in 2021, and then now this year, obviously, it's been your show the whole way. What was kind of talk me through those couple of years and like your development and the ups and downs, like the peaks and valleys of those 2 seasons?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, trying to come from a high school, environment as a quarterback, and then jumping right into Big 12 defenses. They know that I'm young. They're gonna try to bring in a lot of pressure since they know that I'm young. There's a lot of things that I didn't see as a freshman pre-snap like that. So, after that first year, I really took into account that there is a lot that I need to get better at if I want to be able to be successful as a quarterback in this conference. And I feel like it's helped me a lot because it humbled me. It definitely did. I mean, I went into that off season like, I need to know pre-snap. I need to know post-snap. I need to know cap defenders. I need to know if they're doing this, they're going into that coverage. And then, when Coach K got here, I wanted to put a big emphasis on myself on knowing the playbook. I hadn't been in a playbook for more than a year until Coach K got here. So, being comfortable with the playbook as a quarterback is definitely something that will help you along the way. So I feel like growing that confidence in Coach K's playbook, like I've said earlier before, that, knowing the intent of the play allows the whole entire offense to move smoothly.
100%.
Because, if we're in this third down situation, we knew already before the game, the very first 3rd and long, this is the play we're going to run. On the very first play of the game, first 5 plays of the game, this is the plays that we want to run because the defense is going to do this, and we want to be able to make them adjust to us. So, it definitely came a lot with, just being able to be confident in myself.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to know the whole system as a quarterback, right?
Oh, definitely.
So you can tell everyone when they don't know where to line up.
Yeah, definitely,
that never
definitely.
happens with him, right? He knows, you know where to line up all the time?
Yeah.
No, Neal knows where to go. Neal knows where to go.
I know where to go.
What was your biggest learning curve when you got to college? Because you started playing right away.
I had to get stronger, man. Just because, from an overall standpoint, just how my body felt after, you're just like, whoa.
It hurts.
Yeah. And then, just picking up those blitzes. How important it is to protect him, so far we've allowed no sacks, so that's really important in our offense. So when you can keep the chains moving and, just being able to protect the quarterback is very important. So building that strength in the offseason that I needed to, putting on almost 15 pounds that I needed to put on, has allowed me to protect better and overall, and then, break more tackles, create more yak. So those are all important aspects of my game. I'm still learning every day though, asking for advice from some of the best people. We were talking earlier, like some of the best people that I look up to, kind of like Brees Hall people, like just like that. So, always asking for advice, always asking to get better, and just keep on seeking.
Who do you model your game after? Like, is there one running back?
I used to really model myself after Le'Veon Bell, kind of prime Le'Veon Bell. I always liked his patience and his exposing his strength.
So much patience.
Yeah.
He just waits behind that line sometimes, bro.
Yeah, it was art, So, and then just mixtures of him, I've always kind of found usually always when you watch a football game, you watch the person that you feel like you resonate with the most, like the running back. So there's definitely a lot of running backs now, and especially within the last 3 years that you're just they do it right. And, I think overall I kind of want to build my game around being kind of an ultimate guy, kind of like a Travis Etienne or a Christian McCaffrey. Just those guys are, you can't replace those dudes. Yeah. Third down situation, you don't have to run the ball. You just go swing them on the route, go make a linebacker try to cover them, and it's an impossible task.
You got good hands?
Yeah, I do.
You got good
Yeah.
hands?
Yeah, I played. In high school, I almost had close to 700, 800 receiving yards.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of times I'll split out as receivers. So, that definitely led into going back to the recruiting process. A lot of people saw that I could be used in different ways. So
yeah, that's what people don't realize. Fans and stuff. Sometimes those third down backs that you're describing.
Yeah.
Usually they're not great in pass protection.
Right.
You can do it all. Be the counterback. Be the guy that can play out wide. And
right.
also pick up the pass. But that's where you play in the NFL.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
What about who do you model your game after?
Coming from California, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks that, are my age that made it to these big schools and everything like that. And, I always looked at, what did they do to get there? So, I'd say that somebody that I've looked a lot at since we've been in college is Bryce Young. Yeah. Seeing how calm and poised he is in the pocket, nothing ever rattles him. You know, even if they are bringing pressure, he's able to make a lot of guys miss, evade defenders, you know, when they are blitzing, and just make a lot of plays happen. I'd say since I've moved here, definitely Patrick Mahomes, you know, being able to see all the different type of arm angles and throws that he's
All
able to make.
platform.
You know, no, definitely. I mean, you know, trying to make those throws that you see him make in games, you know, just being able to know that, you know, you can always have that in your tool bag. You can always pull that out whenever it's needed. And then I just say Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has been electric since he's been at Louisville. You know, I've always looked at Lamar Jackson's highlights ever since his high school highlights when he had that one viral
Best
video.
highlight tape ever.
When he had that one viral video where he did a step back and walked right into the end zone, you know, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this guy is crazy. This guy is crazy. You know, just being able to see his highlights and how he made a lot of defenders miss, you know, downfield rather than, you know, just being in the pocket. You know, it showed me a lot. And, you know, I want to be able to emulate a few things from his game into mine.
If you got to go, you can leave at some point.
We good. We got
good?
time. Yep, I'm good.
Yeah, don't miss study hall, bro.
I won't.
For each of you, I'm curious, so much success is happening right now. What's a time in your career that you faced adversity? And kind of the one moment where you're like, man, I had to overcome this, or you know.
Yeah, I would say, so there's obviously last year we faced a little adversity, but I'd probably go to my sophomore year in high school. It was kind of like, so the college, like, yeah, the equivalent would be starting like 22 true freshmen on your team, which JD pretty much did. But regardless, but so that's kind of how it was. It was just like 22 sophomores starting, and, you know, we're super young. Like, I was 14, 15 years old, and, you know, trying to learn that, you dealt with injuries, and I'm like, is football really for me? So, like, yeah, just battling past that. I mean, yeah, that was hard, but obviously it got me to the point where, you know, mental toughness kind of comes in, and, you know, that helps you build for the future. So
For sure. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that, you know, to piggyback off what he just said, you know, mental health in college sports is definitely something that not a lot of people think of, you know. Mostly every college athlete that is out there goes through some type of adversity in their life, whether everybody else sees or they don't. And, you know, having to deal with these little things outside of football can definitely take your mind off of football, and it can give you a bad practice, and now you're on yourself more because you're like, dang, oh, this is happening outside of football, and now it's carrying on to practice.
Yeah.
So, like, what can I do next? And, you know, I definitely feel like that portion of things will definitely affect the college athlete.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a great point that not a lot of people talk about. You know?
Yeah.
Who throughout training camp and now on your guys' defense is like showed up and you've been like,
Lonnie
man, I
Phelps.
did not like going against him in practice.
That's exactly what I
Lonnie
was thinking.
Phelps.
Lonnie Phelps. I mean, the amount of explosiveness and how fast he can come around the edge, you know, I've seen that since he's gotten here.
Yeah.
And, you know, just being able to look at practice film and seeing all the little things that he does on that side of the ball is absolutely crazy. Yeah. And it showed in game one. I mean, he had 3 sacks himself.
He's
so
long,
yeah.
too.
Yeah, he's long.
That dude's a monster, bro.
I promise you. I mean, strong, fast, physical. He can do anything that you really want him to do. He'll drop back into coverage in that flat area and be able to try to make a play there. You know, I just seen a lot from him.
Yeah, he creates problems for an offense for sure.
Really?
That dude is a freak.
Yeah. He's going to play in the NFL for a
Yeah,
long
you'll
time,
see him
right?
on Sundays.
You'll see him on Sundays. You'll see him there.
How has I mean, we just talked to Coach Leipold about this too. Like the college game has changed so much. Like it's all you guys really know, but like it's changed more in the last like 3 years than it's changed in the last 50. Like NIL, transfer portal, all that kind of stuff. How have you guys, what are your thoughts on that stuff, and how has it kind of impacted your career so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, like NIL and stuff, like that's cool. I mean, you just think about all the athletes back in the day. I mean, you think of all the scandals and stuff, like those athletes would have been paid a lot
Bush,
of money. Like, and, to allow athletes to be paid off what they're bringing, I mean, there's a reason why most of these stadiums across the country are sold out. They want to see these dudes perform at a high level, and for us to get paid for that is really cool. And I mean, I'm all for it. And I mean, so far for me, I mean, I feel like sometimes people can get too carried away with it. When you're only focusing on that, turning into that's your only focus, and then that's distracting you from college football. Because I feel like college football is just supposed to be a fun game. Like at the end of the day, like I feel like for a lot of us who come in every morning and stay almost to like 7 at night, it feels like a job. Like it's pretty much a job. Let's be real. But just kind of just leading into that, just my advice for people would just not be focusing too hard on it, because like if you focus on just having fun and you go out there and perform, it's gonna come to you regardless.
No,
facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
No, facts. I mean, to piggyback off what he said, you just never want to get too focused on that type of stuff. You know, I do feel like that stepping stone is going to help a lot of future NFL players because, you know, being put into that situation younger than most, like when you get to the NFL, what are you, 20, 21?
Yeah, first time seeing
Yeah,
money.
that's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
you know, being able to balance, you know, you making money, you playing for this team, you know, it'll help you in the long run because now when you're a freshman in college, if you are a 5-star and you come in and start making all this money and all that, you're going to be able to learn like faster to be able to balance. All right,
Yeah, and have
I
the
can use this time.
resources, too.
Yeah, I can use this time for NIL, but I still have to be able to go in, watch film, get training room, be able to do all this extra work, be able to come into the facility with the same mindset every single day.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what it is. And as for the transfer portal, I definitely feel like it's good for college athletes now because you know they don't feel trapped where they are. You know, there's a lot of, like in the past, there've been a lot of people who signed their
Coaches leave every year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they'll sign it for the 4-year deal and then get to the school. If that coaching staff leaves right then and there, then they were stuck. Like, and you're forced to have to go through a change and everything like that. But you know, especially me being from California and living in Kansas, like if there was a California kid who had to move all the way to, let's say, Virginia, and then he gets there 2 months later, the whole entire staff is gone. Now he's gonna feel homesick, and that's gonna mess with his mental health.
Yeah.
It's gonna mess with how he feels, how he attacks every single day, because now he feels like the only people that he trusted to get there, and the only reason why he trusted them to get there is no longer there.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have that kind of like safety net no more.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, honestly. Like you said, you're just not gonna feel trapped. Like you can, like you can choose your best situation, and I think that's some you can say it like this. That's the most humane thing, because you know in the workforce, if you don't want to work a job, quit.
No doubt.
You can go find a job you want to do.
Yeah.
So it should be the same both ways. So that's what's cool about it.
Because before it was like a business for everyone else and not the players.
Exactly.
Now it's a business
Exactly.
for the
Like
players,
people
too.
are making money off the players, and if the players are not satisfied with something, then it's
Yeah.
like, screw you. Like,
Yeah.
Have you guys done any NIL deals yet?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
They've been cool. You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Stressful.
definitely. But like I said, you just never. Everything can get clouded up so fast with NIL deals now. You know, especially.
And some of the money is not even true that people talk about.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
exactly.
It's not-
Like-
you just see it on reported.
Yeah.
I mean, but then you see how fast things can come. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, this season, for example, you know, we're off to a 3-0 start, but you know, through these 3 games, things had just started coming fast. You know, it wasn't something that I really looked at for real, like going like during this offseason. It wasn't something that I was really like, okay, NIL deals. I was really like, okay, there's NIL deals out there, but that's not something that I want to chase.
Yeah.
And now it just feels like everything's just starting to
Yeah,
come so
facts.
fast. So, you know, being able to balance the two is something that you have to want to work on, because trust me, it definitely can get your mindset into a different mind state. But if you got to care more about the football than NIL.
Appreciate it, man. Now we just
All right,
one,
dog.
man.
All right,
One
now.
exclusive. Appreciate it, Devin. Was Kansas your only Power 5 offer?
Yes, sir.
Did you feel disrespected by that at all?
Not necessarily, because like I said earlier, I mean, everything's in God's timing. Everything's in God's plan. You know, I
They're
feel
probably all
like,
regretting it right now, though. How do we not recruit this kid?
you know, that's something I don't even really try to look at, though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm blessed to be in the situation that I'm in today. You know, my path is everybody has a genuine path. Everybody has a different path, and you know, the path that God has given me, I definitely am blessed to be here today, because you know, like I said, everybody's path is different. It is.
What's the life of being a college athlete nowadays? What do you think's the hardest part of it? Is it the school? Is it balancing everything? Is it, you mentioned the mental health part of it? Like, what do you
Yeah.
think's the hardest part of being a
I mean,
Power 5 quarterback, starting quarterback, won the Heisman? Obviously.
you know, definitely balancing, definitely mental health. You know, I don't want to harp too much on balancing, because, you know, in life, you're going to have to learn how to balance your job, your wife, your kids, life is going to hit you at some point. So I don't even really want to harp too much on balancing, because you're going to have to balance at some point in your life. But definitely mental health, because, you know, it's easy to get down on yourself and it's easy to get high on yourself. And it's just like, you never want to let yourself get too high or too low, because that'll mess with how you play. It'll mess with your psyche. You have to find that median ground. Something that my sister always told me was, you'll never be as good as they say you are, and you'll never be as bad as they say you are, which is true, because at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters on yourself is your own. If you don't feel like there's another tier that you're able to break, then you're losing confidence in yourself. But if you also feel like, all right, yeah, I'm not doing enough, then it's just like, all right, what are you gonna do to make that situation? What are you gonna do to make it better?
Yeah, that's such a mature mindset. I remember coaches always talking about, like what you just mentioned, emotional consistency.
Yeah.
Like, not like if you get really high when the good things happen, the downside is then when bad things happen, you get really low.
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
such a mature mindset. It's and I feel like that's what a lot of young players struggle with. Like young quarterbacks, they get really high and then they fall down and then they can't handle it.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like Coach Sleeve, like I said, he's somebody who has a lot of. He's a very intelligent man. He can give you. If you're going through something mentally, he has the right words to say to you that, will get you out of that funk. He has a shirt that he wears all the time that says process over emotions. And it's true, because if you let your emotions drive the boat, then it's going to be one of these things. It's going to be all up and down. But if you just focus on the process the whole entire time, then when something bad happens, all right, good. Yeah. What am I going to do to make it better? If something good happens, all right, that's great, but I can do better. Yeah. That's exactly why I like the way that Coach Sleeth emphasizes everything that he says, because, it doesn't just resonate to football. It resonates to life. Yeah. Because if you're not focused on the process over the emotions in life, then 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. What does Coach Leipold mean to you? Like, how's your relationship grown with him, and kind of what's he mean to this program? Yeah,
he definitely means a lot. I mean, to see how genuine of a man he is, no matter what the situation is, he's gonna keep it 100 with you. Even in those tough conversations, he's never gonna sugarcoat anything. And going back to that decision where if I was gonna redshirt or not, he gave that decision 100% to me, no matter what it was. Like, if you want a red shirt, you can. But if you don't want a red shirt, let's keep fighting. He left that decision to me and my parents. And, since then, me and him have had that connection, and we just feel like we can always trust each other.
Take me through that decision again, because people who aren't Kansas fans may not know that whole situation. And when we just talked to Coach Leipold, he talked about that as well, the decision to redshirt, and you chose to, take us through that process and like what was kind of going on around there.
I was supposed to redshirt my sophomore year. I was sitting behind Jason Bean and Miles Kendrick, and I really just wanted to take that season to, learn more as a quarterback, learn more as a leader. There was clearly a lot of things that I was able to work on to be able to put myself in a better position. So as an athlete, you want to be able to find those little things that you have to do. So my whole entire goal my sophomore year was to just be able to learn more and prepare myself for the future, because my time is going to come sooner or later. It has to. And that's just the plan that God has for me. So, when my number was called in the Kansas State game, I believe Jason Bean got hurt. They put Miles Kendrick in, and then he ended up getting hurt, and I ended up going into the game, and it was crazy because, going through 3 quarterbacks in one game isn't usual for any football team.
Were you ready to play?
Definitely. I mean, we had went over the whole entire gameplay script that week. Like I said, those meetings that we have with the coaches, we go over the intent of every single play. I didn't really get live actions of those reps that week since I was the third string. I was going on scout team, but I would sit behind everybody. I would sit behind Jason Bean and Miles Kendrick while they're running the plays and just getting my own feet work and what would I do in this situation if I got this picture? Just sitting behind and just trying to learn.
Yeah, that's sweet. And then after that game, then you had the decision to redshirt or play out the rest of the season.
So Kansas State was the third game that I played in. Gotcha. And you have 4 games to play, and if you play that 5th game, then you have to redshirt. Then you can't redshirt. Yeah. So I played against Coastal Carolina. I played against Baylor. They threw me in against Kansas State, which is the third game. And game 4 was against Texas, and when they told me I was gonna start because I believe Jason Bean was still hurt at the time, and I really just went into that game with the mindset of, all right, this is probably gonna be the only game that I could start this year. So go out there and just try to make every play that you can. Every play that comes your way, don't flinch. Just keep going. Just be able to try to lead the troops out there, because they're not out there to lose either. Like they want to win just as much as you do. So that was really just my main emphasis. Go out there and just try to make every single play.
Yeah, I love it, man. So after your freshman year, you changed numbers from 17 to 6. What went into that?
So my very first number that I played when I was a child was any sport, was with the A's as a baseball player, and my number was 6. And ever since then, the number 6 has always stuck with me. Yeah. I wore number 6 at Narbonne High School. When I went to Lawndale, I wasn't able to wear number 6 my junior year because a senior had it. And I didn't want to switch my senior year since I was already getting recruited as number 2 and everything like that. A whole bunch of people knew me as number 2. And when I got here, they never really asked me what number I wanted. So when I got here, they gave me number 17. And we have a running back on our team right now named Jack Caldwell, who was wearing number 6. And I asked them if I was able to get number 6 my freshman year, but they told me that it was too late because the season was right around the corner. There's everything's on the media and everything like that. Yeah. And I was just like, dang, that's tough. So as soon as my freshman year was over, I talked to the EQ and was like, Jack said he's okay with letting me get number 6. He's been saying this since last year. Is it possible for me to be able to get number 6? And it was like, oh, definitely. I mean, if Jack is okay with it, then we'll switch you right away. Yeah. And being able to go back to 6 was everything to me, because when I was in high school at Narbonne, the people that I grew up with, Narbonne had a whole lot of talent my freshman and sophomore year.
Narbonne's a powerhouse.
Yeah, definitely. And they used to always call me JD6, and that always stuck with me, because then my mom started calling me JD6, and then my pop started calling me JD6.
JD17 don't sound that
JD17 does not sound. The only thing JD17 sounded good for was when I was 17 years old, and that's JD. He's 17-year-old quarterback. But just to be able to go back to 6 meant everything to me, because it reminded me why I started playing everything I play. Yeah. Being able to go back to that mindset that I had my freshman sophomore year was to be able to go to a Division I and be able to show the world what I was able to do. Yeah. And being able to see all my teammates that was at Narbonne that was calling me JD6, they're able to call me JD6 again. So, just being able to go off of that.
What'd you have to give Jack to get the number, man? You have to trade him anything, or he just gave it up willingly?
I gave him a dap and said, appreciate you, brother.
I love it, man. School-wise, what are you studying, and like do you enjoy going to class, and do you enjoy the studying part of it?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm majoring in sport management, minoring in business. I plan on, if I'm no longer to be able to compete athletically, I'd like to become a sports agent, get into that field and everything. I definitely do like being in the sport management field, because I'm learning a lot about business in sports. I'm right now I'm in sociology of sport. I'm in sports finance. I'm in personnel management, and just being able to learn these different things from these professors who have been in these situations before, know people who are in the field that I'd like to get into. It's just a great time being able to learn more about it.
How'd you know you want to be a sports agent?
So it's crazy. My stepdad is a IT, which is an information technologist. And before I got here, I wanted to be able to be a software engineer. And that changed within my first week of being here.
It's a lot different than being a sports agent.
Definitely. I mean, I was able to help him build a computer. I was able to, help with a lot of stuff that he did. And I thought it was just something that I wanted to be able to get into. And, when I got to college, I just realized that I like technology and everything like that, but it wasn't something I wanted to be able to, do for the rest of my life. It wasn't. Yeah. I wanted to be able to stay around sports. I wanted to be able to, help people who were my age that I've been in that situation before. So I talked to my counselor, and he was just like, so what do you think you want to do? And I was like, I want to be able to stay around sports. And honestly, Joe Burrow just got a $23 million signing bonus.
You did the math for 3%.
Yeah, I did the math. He just got a $23 million signing bonus for being a first-round draft pick. So I'm thinking sports agent.
You sure you don't want to be on TV? You'd be a great TV personality, man.
You know, it's funny you say that because as a child, I always wanted to be on Disney. I always wanted to be an actor. I always wanted to, be in that theatrical field.
Yeah.
And football just kind of started to take over. I went to Hamilton High School for all of less than a month. My freshman year, which was a performing arts school, because I came from a performing arts middle school, and that was the feeder school. I wanted to be able to just go there and hang out with all my friends, but I quickly realized that it wasn't, something just didn't feel right. I want to be able to play football. It wasn't a school that really took football too serious, and I was just like, I want to be able to put my talents on a bigger stage. I want to be able to, get the opportunity to at least be able to play Division I.
Yeah, there's tons of former quarterbacks, especially from California, that are killing it on TV now, though, after their careers, like Matt Barkley, Mark Sanchez, RG3's killing it now.
Yeah,
He's
facts.
Facts.
Calling
the games, but I can see you doing that, man. But no, being an agent sounds awesome. As far as this current team, what do you feel like you guys got to do to take the next step? Like, what's the missing piece right now to winning the Big 12?
I'd say start faster. These past 2 games, we went down 14-0. That's not necessarily a situation that a lot of teams come out of, but we handled adversity well, and we were able to keep going no matter what the situation was. And, we showed grit throughout both of those games, and, we were able to come out victorious. But, I'd definitely say starting faster.
Yeah. What do you think's, how good can this team be? What's the pinnacle of what is it? Big 12 championship?
I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. The fact that Sleeve and Coach Leipold and the staff puts a big emphasis on just chasing that 1% daily. We're not really focused on the future. We're focused on what we have going on a day-to-day basis. Just chasing that 1% will allow us to be able to get where we want to go, no matter where it is. Like I said, the sky's the limit.
Tell me, what is your why? Like, what motivates you every day to? I feel like every big time athlete has like a why, like a purpose of why they do what they do.
My mom, to be able to. I had an interview to go to a high school while I was in 8th grade to go to a private school, and one of the questions that they asked me were, "What struggles do you have in life right now?" And my answer was, "I don't have any," but after that interview, my mother spoke to me and she said, "Do you really think you have no struggles in life at all?" And then she started to explain everything to me, and it's really when stuff started to hit me. I'm not in communication with my biological father. My mother raised me as a single mother all the way until she married my stepdad now, which was in 6th or 7th grade. And my biggest push in life was to just be able to make her proud. Just be able to do everything for her, be able to give my mom anything she wants, make sure she doesn't have to go to work anymore. Mom, you can retire. So, to be able to see everything that my mom did to make sure that I'm not seeing any struggle that I have in life, that keeps pushing me every single day, because I want to make sure she has no struggles in life now. Mom, you did your job. Now it's time for me to do my job, because you raised me into the person I am today. And I know it wasn't easy. I know it's not easy being a single mother and having to hold those tears from everything that you're doing for your son and all these things that you're probably having problems with. She never showed that to me. And that's exactly why I always have as much respect and love for her as I do today, because she never gave up. She always kept pushing me no matter what the situation was.
It's amazing. I bet she's enjoying the ride right now.
No, definitely.
Is she loving it?
Definitely.
That's awesome, man. What's your personal goal as a quarterback? Like, is it win the Heisman? Is it NFL? What do you got? You got any like goals in your apartment or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any personal accolades that I'd like to achieve. The only accolades that I really want to achieve at the University of Kansas right now is to be able to win a Big 12 championship. I want to be able to win a Big 12 championship before I leave the school, and that's just been a goal that I've had since I've gotten here. You can look in our weight room right now at the top of the hill. It's just a Big 12 championship, and right before the TCU game last year, we took a trip to Dallas Stadium, to AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and we were able to see where we would be playing if we were in the Big 12 championship, and that just gave our team so much motivation, because it's right here. We're stepping on these grounds right here, right now, and it's possible. Anything is possible in life. To know that's a possibility for us. The sky's the limit, and we just want to keep on chasing it.
I love it, man. Well, I appreciate all the time you've taken with us. It's
Yes,
been
sir.
fun watching you the first 3 weeks. I'm excited to watch the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And I know, and I think this will be cool for Kansas fans to see. Like, you're a great communicator, clearly a great leader. You're going to be successful in life after football as well. So I'm
Yes,
excited
sir.
to see
Thank you
that.
for having me. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.